Welcome back, folks. Mercury Black here. Decided to give an update after last night's pathetic live stream. I decided to follow it up today with I Am What I Am. I wanted to show my face so everyone knows I'm okay. If anyone was worried, although those of you that know me well knew full well that I was going to ride through that storm just fine. I figured we'd use this as an opportunity to talk about authenticity, honesty, and self-acceptance. I'll tie this. I'm going to quote some great minds at some point during this. See if we can bring some of it together. Shit, Nolan says, hey, Merc, you seem to be echoing. I have no idea what I can do about that. I can mute and unmute, but other than that, I have no idea. Hey, James. Nolan, welcome. So, James, am I echoing for you as well? Well, either way, I wouldn't know what the fuck to do except shut this all down and try again, and it might just still be there. My computer's getting worse and worse. It's malfunctioning more, and it was a little piece of shit to begin with. We can get to that later. Let's see if I can stay on track, because I tossed a few balls up in the air in my head and thought they might land together into something appropriate. To go under I Am What I Am. See, what did I write? Okay. So we started by quoting Popeye with I Am What I Am. I think I'll get around to Peterson a little bit later. Let's go with Joseph Merrick. Let's go with something I had a friend carve into my flesh. The first two lines of. Who originally wrote this poem? Isaac Watts or something? I forget who originally wrote it, but Joseph Merrick is why I know it, the Elephant Man. He would sign all his letters with this. 'Tis true my form is something odd, but blaming me is blaming God. Could I create myself anew, I would not fail in pleasing you. If I could reach from pole to pole, or grasp the ocean with a span, I would be measured by the soul. The mind's the standard of the man. And I realize that one gets a little odd when you apply it to me. Because unlike Joseph Merrick, who had, I think, actually quite a beautiful mind that would be very well accepted, just that it was covered in deformed flesh. There's nothing wrong with my skin suit, the way I'm a deformed freak I did to myself. And it's my mind that's the fucking freak show. I think that still applies. It just goes one deeper, because the mind is the interface here with the flesh. It's not what I really am. It's the soul underneath. And so I can accept my mental deformity. Which is important if you admire authenticity and honesty. Because if you can't accept the worst parts of yourself, and if you can't see the way in which that's everyone's fault, not yours, then you're not going to feel comfortable being authentic. It's going to be difficult for you to be honest with others and yourself. But when you read Lord of the Rings, do you blame Bilbo for what he is? Are Bilbo's faults laid at his big hairy feet? Or isn't that all Tolkien's fault? Doesn't Tolkien get all the credit for everything that's right about Bilbo and take all the blame for everything that's wrong? And if that's true, perhaps as above, so below. Maybe to move up and read the book of that starts with the Big Bang. This book written in the quantum soup of whatever's underneath that string theory doesn't seem to be able to find. The story written in those letters. Is it Tolkien's fault what he is? Or is it the authors from above? I don't think I need to go into the why honesty is important shit right at the moment. So I'm just going to reference that, how we've discussed before many times how important honesty is. Look up Sam Harris's audiobook on truth, or read, what is it, Rule 8 from 12 Rules for Life. Tell the truth, or at least don't lie. Look up Uncle Birch's video on magical rapport if you want to get the mystical side of why telling the truth is so important. But how the fuck are you going to tell the truth if you're not okay? You can't accept what you are. And some people think accepting something means you're not going to do what you can do to change it. And there's that great prayer associated with recovery or whatever. Lord, give me the fucking will to change what I can, accept the whatever, to accept what I can't, and the wisdom to discern which is which. Whatever. I can't pull that quote up. It's somewhere in my head. But I'm not getting that. That's common, though. You've heard it before. So some people do pull back from self-acceptance at like, well, wait a minute. Am I going to stop trying to be better? Some little jocko in their head speaks up. And that's great if that works for you. But for me, it's when I couldn't accept that I was insane, I wasn't dealing with it. If you can't accept that there's a fire starting in the corner of the room, you can't accept that reality, you can't go put it out. And if I didn't accept all the pathetic, losery parts of me, I couldn't deal with them. You've got to be able to accept the way things are. And it's a lot of fucking weight to take the blame for everything you've done wrong. But it's not just about you. This is the fault of all the microorganisms that first formed in the fucking acidic pools as this world was all molten and hostile to everything but those beginning seethings of life. This is the fault of the monkeys that started making tools. And all those other branches of humanity that were massacred for Homo sapien to rise up with a little bit of Neanderthal in the genetic code. It's society's fault, and it's your parents' fault, and your great, 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 great grandmother's fault. It's whatever angels and powers and principalities, whatever that unknowable, all-present thing I call God is. Look at all that majesty and tragedy unfolding all around for billions of eons and perhaps through timeless dimensions. And then look at that tiny little fleck of God that you are. That one little spark that you have perhaps some control over, perhaps none. Is it really fair for me to blame myself for everything wrong with me? Any more than it would be fair for me to take credit for the parts of me that people like? If I can't take credit for the good I'm doing, or at least no more than a partial credit, why should I take all the blame? This just is what it is. You are what you are. I am what I am. I'm this fucking bundle of nonsense. And the way the world is, this is just the way it is. And it's spending a lot of time thinking about things from this angle that allows me to let go of outcome. So anyone who's watched like the past couple videos, channel's actually been going very well in many ways the past couple months. In other ways, not so great. Like our views are pretty low. We got shadow banned at the beginning of quarantine for like a week or two, where anything we put up was unsearchable. Partial notifications went out, but you couldn't even see the videos on our channel page for days. And like that went away. But after that, our views never recovered. So our views aren't very good. And we're still working on trying to figure out how to capitalize this. So the channel's not making any money either. But on the other hand, as far as the number of people taking me up on private sessions, the amount of community interaction, the way the Lunatic patrol parties have gone, the networking with the experts as well, like the people I've been able to get for podcasts, the contacts we're somehow starting to make, the amount of feedback we're getting on making an actual difference in individuals' lives. That's all gone fantastically well. And if you saw the video from a couple days ago or whatever, I don't know. Time's weird. Whenever it was. The help, I don't know what I'm doing. This is going quicker than I can keep up with. And I guess yesterday shows I put a little too much pressure on myself. Although, no, not too much, because what I showed yesterday isn't like that's something rare. That I go through that all the time. Like sometimes when I casually say that someone asks what I, did earlier, and I'll say, oh, I took an hour to process some emotions. Although I talk about it, yeah. Sometimes what I describe casually as taking some time to process some emotions is actually looks much, much worse than the pathetic display yesterday. Which is embarrassing, but I'm going to leave that up there for everyone else who goes through that shit and feels like they have to hide it. And also, again, why the fuck am I embarrassed? I am what I am. I didn't pick it. I'm doing the best with what I was given. Right, so back to doing the best with what I was given. Aside from being somewhat overwhelming at times, this is also really fucking surreal. But something bigger than the sorting myself out communities going on. There's other communities popping up. And like I've said before, we're midwifing an apocalypse here. So that's the time for shit to get weird. But I don't know what I'm doing with this fucking project beyond, like, I know how to be a lunatic magician. I know how to do the private sessions and run the parties, and apparently I can ramble on live streams and do podcasts, but to put together an organization using a computer, fucking brutally hard on me. I can't edit. So limited what my abilities are there. And organizing, scheduling is fucking brutal on me. That's what really beat me down yesterday. It was that side of shit. It wasn't the actual, this part. It wasn't the talking, the thinking, the feeling, the loving people, present with them. That shit flows. Like, that shit hits flow states and causes delusions of mystical energy and all kinds of shit. The organizing doesn't. So I guess this is leading to putting out the word again, because I'm going to do my part. But what comes of the channel, what comes of the community, what comes of the Discord is outside of my control. It's going to be whatever the rest of the universe does alongside. So if a couple more people show up with the skill sets we need, we might be able to take all this to another level and help a whole lot more people than we're helping right now. And if, on the other hand, Ryan never returns from his sabbatical, and rather than getting new independent contractors, interns, or employees, everyone else goes away, then this might get smaller. So that's up to all of you. That's up to the universe. And right after I posted the help, I don't know what I'm doing video, and as soon as I signed out of sorting myself out, signed back into YouTube as Mercury Black, I just clicked the first song that came up suggested to me was a Motorhead song. And I just clicked it without even looking at the title. I just saw Motorhead and clicked on it. And it was really synchronistic because I just put out this call to the hikikomori, or anyone else who feels like they want to help, to be of service. They've learned it's not about them, and they wanted to do something. And so, yeah, I'm putting out that call again. You know that it's not about you. You want to walk the path of service, but you're at that point where you don't know what to do, and you've got a bunch of extra time, but you don't know how to help anyone. And if you think what we're doing here at Sorting Myself Out is actually helping people, then write into the channel at sortingmyselfout0@gmail.com, or join our Discord, links in the description. You can message myself or the other team members directly through Discord if you want to volunteer. But anyway, the Motorhead song, right? I posted it in the comments after. But a lot of people don't read the comments. So back to quoting great minds like Popeye and Jordan Peterson. We're going to hear some words of wisdom from dearly departed Lemmy. And so for those of you who feel like you're just wasting your time, you're just playing video games all day and you've gotten tired of it, you're just scrolling social media and it doesn't make you feel any better, I'll bet you're scared of dying Bet you're scared of death. Think you're going to choke on your final breath. Want to go to heaven, scared of hell. Scared of the devil and his tail as well. There ain't no insurance for your final ride. No photo finish, nobody to bride. Baby, I know only you can live your life. And there is only you can do it right. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste a minute. Listen here. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Everybody going, standing in the line. Don't you worry, baby. There's worse things than death around here. Don't chase after money. You're going to lose your soul. Same for religion. Out of control. Don't fall for money or heroin again. Needles for your enemies. Bullshit for your friends. The way we're going, same as we came. Bought the fucking picture, paying for the frame. Everybody asking just when they're going to die. I think that they should be asking why. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste an hour of your life. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. The ghost walks beside you. It's been there all the time. You know damn well there's only you can live your life all right. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Don't be staring at the wall. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. You better find a reason why you should be alive. If you're just a taker, you might as well check out. That's all. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Don't waste a minute. Listen here. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. Don't you worry, baby. It happens all the time. You know damn well there's worse things than death around here. So that's my call to action for anyone out there wasting their time. I'm worried about what they're going to feel like when they hit the grave. If you're at your fucking computer all day and you know how to work it, and you want to devote a few hours every week to be of service, as ridiculous as it is, my ramblings are helpful to some people. And we can get more of it out. We can improve the quality. We could get organized. We could be... Fuck, I don't like the money system. I don't like thinking about money. And you know, my favorite stuff by Peterson's all the shit that's confirmation bias. Stuff in Maps of Meaning and Introduction to Personality. But one of those things, yeah, so I often talk about the things that are just him putting in different words, something I discovered for myself. You know, that earned knowledge type thing is mostly what I stick to. But here's one that I've heard from Peterson. And I've been trying to absorb, but I haven't lived it yet. So this is not earned knowledge for me. This is what I'm trying to do right now. Like trying to keep reminding myself. Because I really like it out here in the quiet and the chaos and the wild. Systems and order and money and calendars are such burdens. Fucking money, such a burden. I think Peterson made a good point on something. As much as I didn't want to hear it when I first did. His idea is, if you're going to try to be of service, capitalize on it. You should try to monetize altruistic endeavors. Because with the way the world is today, financial capital will allow you to expand your reach. That if you're trying to help people and you can find a way to make a profit off of helping people, then you can use that profit to help even more people. So if we could get some money coming into the channel, and we've turned ads on now. We're past that nonsense that I did to Ryan at the beginning when it was just me and him doing this. I wouldn't let him monetize for the first while. Because I needed to be sure we were focused on service to others and that money wasn't going to shape what we were doing here. But Ryan put up with that nonsense and he didn't pressure me at all. He let me work through my issues on money. And he let me take my time to be careful about our motivations doing this. And I got the letters from the people who said, you know, that maybe they wouldn't be here if it weren't for a certain video. And sure, maybe they would have found something else to pull them through. But from their perspective, they were really on the edge of checking out when they hit one of my videos, and they're still here. There's that wonderful person from Turkey I just heard from again. Thank you so much for writing a year ago, and thank you for writing recently. It's so encouraging. Because of my bullshit, they're not in a cult. So I don't need to understand exactly how I'm helping. It can be a vague, sort of mysterious thing where I've only got the edge of it. But there's people this is helping. If we could get a little more technical assistance, some volunteers, and or if we could get a bit of money coming in to the channel. I think like we're even now, and I think the little bit we make off ads, because we don't make much. Our videos, we get between $15 and $25 a month off ads is like the range. But I think we're at the point where that can like pay for the Zoom account from here forward. There were some other expenses that Ryan went out of pocket for a while. And yeah, as opposed to making money, I've gone out of pocket just a little bit as well. But I think we're at the point now where we're just that little bit of money trickling in will cover the Zoom account every month so we can hold parties. But again, we got to get organized and we've got to get the banking set up and get that payment happening automatically. But beyond that, like, hooray, we can probably like just pay for our Zoom from now on. And I don't know what else we could do to expand or whatnot if we had a little bit of capital to work with. But then beyond that, because it's fucking hard to get people to volunteer to do shit, is if we could get a bit more money coming into sorting myself out. Money donated, which I don't know how well the Patreon's set up now, but there is a Patreon in the link. Hopefully that works. I don't know. I don't know anything about that. If anyone tries to use the Patreon and it doesn't work somehow or we fucked it up, let me know. But we've got that now. And if the channel, because that account is like the channel, it's not going to Ryan, it's not going to me. Ryan Holsapple Transformational Guide is a different company than sorting myself out. But if we could get some capital coming in, I would be fine with fucking paying editors and shit before even me or Ryan take anything. Because if that stuff could all get taken care of without me thinking about it at all, I think I could handle even more private sessions, and I think I could be booking even more expert sessions. And then, all right, I was talking about Peterson's Learn to Capitalize on shit and how I've been trying to like adjust my own thinking. Because I don't like that way of thinking. But I haven't been reading the chat. I don't know if anyone's interested in this, but I'm just going to keep rambling because it's where my thoughts are going. So maybe I need to work this out again, even though I talked it through with Tyler yesterday. So the same way that Ryan's got Ryan Holsapple Transformational Guide, He's going to have like his independent career while co-hosting this channel with me. If the universe provides the other side of the dance for this. So I'm not looking to control outcome on this, even with everything I said before about the channel specifically. I can see that that growth potential's there. But I'm also not trying to force this. Like I said, I've let go of the outcome. So it's like if no one wants to volunteer, even if the volunteers that are here end up having to move on to other things, and if no funds come in, I'll keep plugging away on this. I can live off of disability and do it at this level. So it's government funded charitable action. Thank you, Canada. So this is fine if it's the way it continues. Just I'm seeing this the possibility for it to become something bigger. So I'm just doing this as, like I said, I do my part, and then whatever happens, happens. So I'm just throwing these ideas out there. These don't have to happen. But they're things that I see as growing possibilities in the future. Because the world's weird, and there's a lot of money out there, and with the internet, fucking weird shit can happen now. So if it's what everyone wants from me, I'll do my own business as well, just like Ryan. Where it's like it's separate from sorting myself out, but it's also a part of the foundation of sorting myself out. And just like Ryan's, because Ryan Whole Apple Transformational Guide isn't completely separate from sorting myself out. It is and it isn't. Work he does there feeds back content to the channel, and the channel community feeds back clients to his business. So it is somewhat integrated. There's like a Venn diagram where it overlaps. And mine would be the same thing. It would overlap with sorting myself out. And mine probably wouldn't have as much of an independent presence outside of sorting myself out, because I'm not that kind of person. Ryan's got more of a presence outside the channel, whereas my own personal business at the moment is completely contained within channel activities. And I have no desire to expand out and make my own website or anything like that. So my personal project will probably be fit more sheltered underneath the umbrella of sorting myself out. But the personal project that I could see that I would be willing to do, if it's what the all wants, is, aside from the nonsense I do here, which people see, I'm sorry that I'm not responding to chat. I guess I just got to get this shit out. I didn't fully know why I was coming on here. Apparently, I needed to talk this through more. Maybe because of the weight of it inside, which shouldn't be there, because fuck, I'm not in control of the outcome. But anyway, aside from this, the other thing I do pretty good is the lowercase g forest god stuff. I love the land here in Quebec, the wildlife. I'm good at getting to know it. I'm going to put up some footage soon, hopefully. Because it takes over an hour, or it takes an hour to upload a minute and a half of a video. That 6-minute video, What's Wrong With You, took between like 4 and 5 hours for me to upload. I don't know if that's just my computer or if it's also the connection. But I've got some more videos that I'd recorded. I've got them on my computer. They've got to be uploaded. Also, the team's so fucking busy, no one has time to do, like, add the little opening and end screens at the moment anyway, so there's no rush to get them up. And the footage isn't, like, amazing or anything. But yeah, I'm going to put up a podcast I recorded with a groundhog where we talk about peanuts. And I think I can introduce you to Chipmunky and Scruffy, two of my chipmunk friends. They've each agreed to make an appearance on the channel. I've got that footage. I befriended frogs and snapping turtles. Like Merlin used to come when I called. Great big frog. So I can combine those two sets of skills, those two sets of nonsense. And if I had money to buy a piece of land, ideally I'd buy this piece of land. The house I'm living in, my great-grandfather built. That old barn, the old barns you see falling down in the background, or the one that I was inside when I recorded What's Wrong with Me. My great-grandfather, my great-uncle, my grandfather built those. The tree line at the edge of the farm that's in the background of some of the videos when I used to shoot outside last summer. My dad planted those when he was a little kid, along with other members of the Black family. The creek that runs along just south of me is Black Creek. And my great-grandfather bought this land from the crown, like from England. It was the first farm in this little valley here that was settled. So this was raw, preserved wilderness until my forefather settled here. And up until my great aunt Gwen moved out, which is when I moved in, nobody but our family had owned this. Like my grandfather, when he grew up, so he grew up in this house, but then he bought the farm 2 farms up, which is now where my parents and sister and brother-in-law and niece and nephew all live on that land. But my great uncle Larry, he was raised in this house and he never lived anywhere else. He just took over the farm as great grandpa got too old. And he lived here his whole life. Great grandpa died right in the other room. He died here at home. I like that. Passed away in his armchair, not in some hospital with tubes up his nose. Somebody accidentally shot themselves in the head right where I'm sitting. In the olden days when we didn't have all the PSA warnings about quite how careful you have to be with a loaded gun. Someone thought it was unloaded and sat down, I think like right about here. Rested the gun butt on the floor, and the stock on their shoulder. They let their hands slide down and they hit the trigger. This house has ghosts that know me. And the chipmunks and the birds and the frogs and a number of groundhogs know me here. It might be a delusion, but I think the creek knows me. Remembers me playing in it as a kid when I used to visit when my family lived in Ontario, like my immediate family. And this was visiting, Larry and Gwen, and over there was visiting Grandma and Grandpa. So I'd like it to be here that I combine things. But when Gwen moved out, while I moved into the house, someone else bought the farm. It's about 125 acres, some forest, some field. And the original handshake deal with my family was that that person was going to buy the farm and sell me just the house. Now, it's a pain in the ass to separate a house from agricultural land in Quebec. So the plan was for me to just rent for 2 years while my dad worked out all the details with this person, and it made sense for everyone's finances or something. I don't know. I can't think about money, and I'm lucky enough to have a great father who's got my back and takes care of me. But when the 2 years were up, that person changed their mind about selling me the house, which was just disastrous for me emotionally. It took me about 2 years to process that. And at first I wanted the fuck out of here then, because I just wanted to be in a house where, well, it was mixed. I didn't want to leave at all. I really wanted to be here. But I also wanted to be in the house where I could just know it's the last time moving this couch. It's the last time moving anything. I'd really love to be in the house that I know I can die in. So I had mixed feelings about that for a while. But lately what my thinking is maybe, just maybe, the reason I wasn't able to buy the house was because we didn't want to split the deeds and that I was eventually just going to be buying the farm. Because my family does not have money. I'm on disability. Back when I found out I couldn't buy the house, there was no way really imaginable for me. It didn't feel even remotely possible. Emotionally, no matter what I told myself intellectually about anything being possible, emotionally it felt like, no, there's no way we'll ever be able to buy this farm. But now I wonder if we couldn't just make an offer that was more than he paid, if that's what the universe, if the universe wants me here, if this farm wants me here, and if there's people out there, and I'm going to get to what the project is after I ramble on about the land. So if the universe wants me here, and the land's chosen me, then perhaps enough money will manifest that I can just make a good offer in the place. And I know one of the reasons he really wants this land is the southern fields connect other pasture for him. He owns a shitload of land in this area. And so he can walk his cattle. It connects fields for him. So I think if I made, like if what I talk about later, and if a GoFundMe worked or something, I actually don't know what that is. It's something someone suggested. But anyway, that worked and I can make a decent offer on the land. The other thing is for my project, I only need from the creek north. I don't need the southern patch, which is what's most valuable to him. The retreat would go up north, and I live right here. Southern field, I wouldn't need anything for. So maybe if I made him an offer that included passage rights, give him a couple decades, like legally, of land use, passage, like entirely free and not trying to take it off the price of the land, that maybe I could get this place. But, and I've talked about this with my father, and what he said is, don't worry about whether we can buy this place or not. He said, if there's people who want to fund a retreat, just go ahead and raise the money, because we'll either buy this place and my dad will negotiate for me, with the land passage and everything. But he said, if not, he knows land that's just a 15 to 20 minute drive from here. That's just still virgin land. There's some little lakes and there's some little lakes surrounded by forest. That for the equivalent of making an offer on this farm, we could probably buy a virgin piece of land and for the same price put up a house. So we could get the land cheaper, but that land then wouldn't have my house. So I'd have to put up a house for myself. And then here's where, regardless of where it is, so whether it's on this farm up north, across the road, there's a hill that goes up, a bit of a field, then there's some nice forest up there. I think that would be just perfect for a retreat. It's close enough I can walk up there to be with people, and it's far enough away that when I need to be away from the retreat, there could be an activity going on. Ryan could be hosting some fucking month-long event for all I care. It's out of my eye line when I don't want to be involved, or it's perfect for when people want to be booking cabins for silent retreats and shit. They don't need to see me. If what they're booking for is some isolation, they'll never see me. And if what people are booking for is time with me, like I've got my house to, sleep in and have my own space, and I can head up and do all the nonsense I do in private sessions and Zoom calls. But instead of doing it across the screen, we can do it sitting around a campfire in the evenings, during the days. Okay, and this is where I think I can combine things. And plus, my dad has a sawmill, like just a little kind that hitches in the back of a truck, like a little mobile sawmill. So like we can cut down, and me and my dad have done logging before. We can cut down trees ourselves. We can cut trees into boards ourselves. And there's people who want to volunteer to come cut down trees, saw them into boards, and help me build cabins. And I think the only way to really get cabins built, we'd want to have one contractor there supervising everything. But with my dad's equipment, our experience and volunteer help, I think we can put up nice little cabins much, much, much cheaper than most people could. Plus, land in Quebec is much cheaper than most other places. So I think I can put up a retreat cheaply compared to what it would cost in other places of the world or for other people to do. But on top of that, I think I can combine my shit here. And even though I keep calling this a retreat, that's the way I think it makes the most sense publicly. I actually think of it as a magical sanctuary myself. But what I'm doing in my yard, like what I love doing, what I just do naturally, making friends with wildlife, like smoking weed with a wild raccoon or, hand feeding animals. I love doing that shit. So if we put up some nice little cabins and, we can make a nice fire pit. Also, there's someone around here with a backhoe my dad knows. My dad can operate that shit. We could possibly rent a backhoe really cheap and dig out a little lake, like a little pond for swimming. We could stock it with trout, possibly very, very, very cheaply. But whatever, we can put up the little retreats, some nature trails, some meditative spots. Maybe we can erect some standing stones, put up some cabins, a gathering area. Maybe we could have one big cabin for events or even that can be used as bunkers when a bunch of people want to stay. And the groundwater here is beautiful. Like you drill down and you could verify it as spring water. So if the retreat had its own well and we put some solar panels up there, so not like the amount of electricity a normal home uses, but so that we could have running water up there and lights and shit. Although I'm also think it's great to incorporate camping style gas lights and whatever, but I'd love to have power supply, water. And again, if there's money coming in, I'd also love to put away a bunch of that long-term food shit where you prepare for a disaster. And then the retreat, which I think of as a sanctuary, could both serve as a retreat for events, but could also be a local disaster relief. Like last year? Yeah, last year there was flooding here. And, a small town, a bunch of people had to leave their homes because like it was a low spot. Everything got flooded. And so it would be great if I had a spot where if shit goes bad and I can just open it up that I could tell. And I don't know how you organize that. Go to the local church or I don't know if there's some sort of local civic council, but just somewhere to go to say, hey, at a disaster like that, I've got 10 cabins, or if I can get it up to 2 dozen. I got 2 dozen cabins. People can stay in them for free while they sort their shit out. There's water and electricity. Feel free to get your own food and cook, or there's emergency supplies. And if you're like broke right now and this is a disaster, it's not going to be great food, but there's, dehydrated whatever. So you can give people a place to stay for a month and get on their feet. But anyway, back to what I could do is I could do my forest god bullshit up there. And I could spend a bunch of time doing my rituals and put my magic shield around it. And I can erect standing stones or something. And I can go up there and meditate and pray and get to know the wildlife. Also, collectively, we can put up some bat houses and bird houses, put out the kinds of things that rabbits and groundhogs want to move into. I can spread seed for the birds. I can put out food for the wild deer and the wild turkeys. Even in the winter, I could put out, like if we had money coming in off the retreat. Because I think once the retreat was there, I could easily get off of disability. Especially like if people want to do charity and help some pathetic loser on disability, like get off of disability. If the retreat could be fundraised, I think as soon as it was there, I could just get off of disability and I could do the Sam Harris thing of charge people money who have money and have a sliding scale for poor people and let, crisis cases in for free. But I think like that could generate enough money that I could put out round bales for the deer in the winter. And that I think would be nice for both sides of both parts of the evolutionary spectrum. I think there's a lot of people who would enjoy coming and doing meditative practices with me in a nice piece of tamed forest while watching deer go by, having birds, right next to them, or hand feeding a chipmunk or a groundhog or a raccoon or something. But also, I think nature would enjoy that as well. It seems to me the animals love it when I make friends with them. And this could all just be my delusional nonsense, but hey, what the fuck? I'm bipolar. I am what I am. Seems to me the forest up there wants to get to know you guys. Seems to me the forest misses us. We've moved into the cities. And we cut down so much fucking forest. We're slaughtering the ants. But on the other hand, even the forest we leave there, so many people have cut themselves off from it completely. It's a foreign land. They always live in a concrete jungle. Or they find the forest scary. It's that idea of, that's where shallow graves and serial killers are. That's where bears maul you and snakes bite. But we used to live right in the forest. We used to love it. Some of us still do. But unless I'm delusional, which I guess I certainly am, but maybe this is still true. Seems to me this piece of forest wants to meet some of you. So I think I could combine those skill sets of being able to make friends with animals and trees and rocks, and of being able to make friends with all of you. But that's out of my hands. I'm throwing this idea out there. Whatever will be, will be. But if you're someone who's actually watched this fucking far and you want to help in any way, I think everyone knows all the various ways, but some people have been giving me feedback I should punch this more. So on the easiest level, with nothing more than a few clicks every now and then, you can like videos. You could share them if you're not embarrassed to let people on social media know you watch me. You can subscribe to the channel. Commenting in live chat, even when I'm not responding, helps the channel. The algorithm likes that. And I'm going to zoom through these in a minute. Commenting under the video once it goes up helps. Those are all things. And join our Discord. Those are all things you can do with nothing but a few clicks of the button. If you're a person with money who likes supporting things financially, we now have the Patreon, and there will be other options to support my personal projects coming up in the future. One is we'll do a fundraiser for a better computer for me very, very soon. So that option will be there in the future too. But for now, there is the Patreon. Also, you can go follow us on Twitter. Nolan's running that, so it's SMO Nolan. But you can throw some money into Patreon so that we've got a little something to work with. Then you can join our Discord, and you can help out with, if you want, you can help out with the community. Just be there and be active on Discord. We're gathering a lot of really special people. Some people who know a lot about helping others, and some people who need a lot of help. And for some of them, the help they need is fucking easy. Just copy a couple basic things that I do. Like, set your own ego aside for a moment. Don't worry about right or wrong or correcting the person. Just listen to them with an open mind and just try to understand their experience. And then take the side of the part of them that wants the best for them. So you don't even have to give someone advice. If you listen to someone for a while, they'll tell you what they know they shouldn't be doing, and they'll tell you what they know would make things better. And then you just encourage that. You just go, hey, well, if you think that would help, give it a try. And then they'll say something like, oh, but, blah, blah, blah. And then you can just say something like, yeah, but if you don't try, you don't know. Or you can just say, I'm here, I'm listening. If you're someone who understands, if you're also bipolar and you want to be there for other people who are bipolar, you can say you understand. If you're not, but you want to be there for someone, you can say, hey, I don't understand, but I have compassion and would like to. So you can just get involved at like a community level, and we can start supporting each other more, sort ourselves the fuck out, put ourselves together. And once our rooms are clean, we can go help people clean up other messes. Not in the going out to change the world and tell people what to do kind of shit. In the like everybody wants this problem solved, like some, supporting suicidal people or supporting rehab projects, like the kind of shit no one's arguing over. Let's go get those jobs done. Nobody says, hey, we should have more homeless crack addicts and people killing themselves. We've all agreed on that. Let's roll up our sleeves and do some of that work instead of arguing over other nonsense. That's what we can do if we keep moving forward. And then bigger than that is if you really want to get involved, whether it's you can volunteer for a little while until we get some more long-term employees in, if you've just got some advice on how to organize this, if you know computers, but things we definitely need both at a community and company level. We need a good manager. We need an organizer, somebody who understands business. I should just be like talent, and there should be somebody else thinking about how to capitalize on this and how to monetize this, because it's a burden on my system and I'm not good at it. So if someone knows how to monetize this, come to us. And obviously, if this channel gets to the point where it's generating real money, which who knows, it could. If you're one of the people that helps get it there, obviously you're going to get the first offer for a paying job, if it can turn into paying jobs. And then aside from that, we can use anyone who knows social media, networking, knows how to get the word out there, wants to be spending time on some social media, or anyone who knows about what other podcast sites we should be posting to, and anyone who knows how to edit. I could be uploading more shit. Like I can do the raw footage stuff. If I can ramble for a while like that, what's wrong with you video? I could be doing more podcasts, and I could be doing more audience guest sessions where they're being recorded. I know I could. I'm focusing more on private sessions with people right now because my interns and independent contractors are as busy as they can handle. So there's no point in me recording more sessions with people right now. It's just going to pile up and be too much pressure. So I could be recording more podcasts, more audience guest sessions. I could be doing more, especially if I wasn't thinking about anything else, and I could be doing more, getting some footage recorded of me rambling. If we had people who can edit, put on end screens, start screens, and it would be even better if someone wanted to improve quality and wanted to do even a bit more precise editing. Like that 6-minute, what's wrong with you? I don't know if that could have been improved with more editing, but we didn't have the manpower to even look at it. I don't know if that's like the end of the list of things people can do to help and what we need, or if that's just the end of my fucking hamster got tired in my head and that wheel just slowed right down. Fuck, I said I was going to read the chat and I haven't looked at it. I am going to read the chat in a minute. But I got to go take a piss. And okay, here's another thing. Maybe in the future when I've got a better system and learn how to use it, first of all, hopefully the video quality will be better. It won't be this, looks like it was recorded in the 70s on VHS, and there won't be the same sound problems in the future if I have a better computer. The other thing is with a better computer that can run shit, I think Grizz can teach me how to, where I could be playing some music, or we could have some little video to play when I have to take a piss break. But at the moment, this is the best I can do, is streaming at this garbage quality, and where taking a break is just going to be you staring at this back wall So if you want to stick around and hear me read the chat or whatever the fuck happens, I guess you have two choices: open up another window or put on some music, or just do some fourfold breath or some baby breath and enjoy a moment of now. Your life is your life. Do with it what you will. I'll be back. Oh, the other thing I think I could do once I have a better computer is I could have music on quietly in the background again. Because, like I said, my computer's gotten worse. You look back at one point, the Lunatic lives were better quality. That was because my web, like this little cheap webcam that plugs into the computer, used to work to live stream on YouTube. I don't know why it doesn't now. Something, it fucks up if I've got it plugged in, although I can use it for everything else. I can talk to people on Messenger or do Zoom calls with the plug-in camera. For some reason, I can't, so I'm down to using the built-in camera. And with this one, those weird noises that I think you're probably hearing, like it's perfectly quiet here. I don't know what the fuck that is. That's something with the computer. But that means that if I put on music really, really quiet in the background, it makes all those pops and whistles or whatever noises you're hearing way the fuck worse. So I can't do that anymore. I used to be able to put music on really quiet so I could just hear it. And that makes doing these live streams so much more enjoyable for me. Right now, I'm really wishing I could just hit play on a song nice and quiet while I'm talking. But it fucks up the audio. So once we get a fundraiser going for a new computer for me, Grizz says he knows what kind I need. And that's something where people can give feedback. Actually, I'd said before, is if you know about computers and whatnot, you know what kind of computer is best for me, like best price that we get, the best performance and all of that shit. Grizz has one in mind because it's the one he just got. He says he's happy with it. And that would actually work well because then I would have the exact same one as Grizz. And even when he takes a fucking break from the channel, he's always there for me when I need him, like as a person, like person to person, not as a contractor with the channel. So if I have the same rig as Grizz, he's a reliable motherfucker and he's a good friend. So he'll be there to help me as I'm trying to figure out the new computer. And if I've got the exact same one as him, I think that could work out really well. But if you know a lot about computers, and don't talk to me about it, message Grizz on Discord, because I'm just going to take all my advice from him on that, I think. All right, I said I was going to read chat, so I'm going to read chat. Hey, did I say I was going to respond to chat or just read it? Okay, so apparently it didn't sound that. Oh, okay, Nolan, it was on your end. Good. Hi, Mousy. Hi, Adela, I love you. Okay, Adela says, is rugged when it's strong enough to face evil, tenacious enough to do good, courageous enough to enforce consequences, sturdy enough to be patient, resilient enough to forgive, and trusting enough to pray boldly, letting go, rugged love for wayward souls. That's beautiful, Adela. Thank you. Wagwan Ben. Hey, Martin. Love you both. Adela says, new normal Ryan may be counseling through digital media like Zoom or whatever. I can donate him the first. Lunatic love money. Haha. Thank you. That's very sweet, Adela. Especially you're very supportive in non-financial ways as well. Thank you for everything you do. Hey, Martin says just became a patron. Gonna go play video game. Oh, wow. Okay, so does that mean our Patreon works? I don't think Shane's here. But Shane, if you watch this, did we get our first Patreon supporter? Ben asks, has Ryan moved on from the channel? No, he's just on a sabbatical, which both me and him are free to do that whenever we need to. And I'm not upset with Ryan taking his break. Like, I want him to walk his path, and I'm going to take a break whenever the fuck I need to take care of myself. So Ryan's not left the channel. He's just taking a break. Like, he's going through school right now. He's got to cover expenses. So he's working with clients and shit. He's expanding at the moment somewhat his independent business. He's working on his school. He's doing so much other shit. He's working so hard, and he's just focusing on that right now. And he's going to step back into the channel. Well, even at that, he's still doing the occasional thing. He's got also, if we had more video editors, we would be kicking out some more content from Ryan at the moment. It's stuck at a bottleneck of not having video editors. So Ryan's kicking back content that we just don't have time to process. And also Ryan's there for me for business meetings. Like if we get some applicants, he'll be there to do his level of the intake process and provide interviews. And like Ryan was there for me with the podcast with Greg Henriquez. He came in for that one. And I think he's recording a podcast with Andrea soon for her channel. So like Ryan's still a part of the team. He's just like stepped back to work on some other shit right now. And this will probably work out perfect because I'm burning pretty hot and I can do this through the summer, but I'll have to slow the fuck down in winter and fall. So maybe synchronicity will line up that winter or fall, Ryan will get a bug up his butt to jump back into sorting myself out and start putting in some hours on the live stream here or something. So no, Ryan's around. Ryan will be back. Ryan's just busy cleaning up his room so that he can be the best Ryan he can be, which is exactly what we all want him doing. Daniel says, I'm happy to see that you're feeling better. Thanks, Daniel. And thank you for all of your support. And yeah, especially after putting out all that crybaby, wah, wah, someone help me with this, give me that. I have not lost sight of the gratitude of everything everyone's done up till now, which is right down to every single person who's watched even one video. But in a way, as much as I poured all of myself into the channel, I've still been the one who's done so little of this. Andrew's the one who built this fucking thing, which was all because of all the work Peterson did. And then Ryan took it over with me. So there's no way I could have started alone. Then people actually watched. If everyone had just bailed and we were getting between 0 and 10 views per video, like as much as I say each one person you help matters, and that is true, I got to admit, if it was 0 views on a lot of videos and our high was 10, I may not still be saying, hey, I'm on disability. I'll plug away at this as long as everyone needs me. I can spare the time. So thank you to everyone that enough people watched that this was worth doing. Thank you to everyone who signed up. at Discord, everyone who asked for a private session, everyone who came on to do a podcast, everyone who has supported the channel in any way whatsoever, right down to just watching without ever saying hi or clicking like or even subscribing. Like the wisdom of another wise man, as the Joker said, like a variation of his riddle. What do you get when you cross a mentally ill loner with the part of the world that turned up to sorting myself out? Well, you get what you fucking deserve. And rather than that mentally ill loner pulling out a gun and shooting at you right now, he's offering that, hey, if you're struggling, reach out. I'm jumping into this with both feet now, so there's a Discord link in the description. And I'm Mercury Black. You can right-click my name or whatever and send me a private message. If you think talking to me for a couple hours will help, or 15, 20 minutes, but for some reason, lots of people want to talk for like 3 to 5 hours. And I'll just do as much of it as I can handle. So apparently that's what you deserve. Because that's how you've treated me in such a way that this is what I'm doing. This is all, my participation on the channel is just a result of my inner nature interacting with outside circumstance. And if you all had reacted to me differently, I would have behaved differently. So if someone's watching this and they're horrified at what I'm doing, fuck, it's your fault for watching. Why are you watching this? The more people that watch, the more the algorithm pushes this shit. So it's your fucking fault. On the other hand, if you're watching this, you're one of those people who thinks, fuck, I'm glad there's someone like that out there, or you're doing such good work, or all of that. Really sweet shit people say to me that I sometimes have trouble just saying thank you. I deflect or joke. But if you're one of those people and you're watching this, that's your fucking fault, not mine. You hadn't done what you did, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. So we're all in this together. Wonderful Adela says, fantastic ideas you have, Mr. Black. Game on. If you need anything, paint interior, or exterior, the within, without. Let's get that GoFundMe campaign going. Sooner the better. Yeah, we're going to find a way to monetize this stuff, get it organized. The right person's going to appear. We need our own Tyler. Tyler's fucking awesome. Or if someone has cloning technology and someone else is going to go get a sample of Tyler's blood, we need a Tyler. Hey, Kevin. Welcome. How you doing today? Tarot for self-knowledge. Everybody watching should who's interested in tarot reading should check out Tarot for self-knowledge. I haven't had a chance to watch much, but I think they've been putting up quite a bit of content lately. It says, hi, Merc. Looking forward to talking to you later today. Yes, me too. But yeah, we're booked in 2 hours. I don't think I'll be on here that much longer anyway. But I do have in mind that that's in 2 hours. Nolan says, yep, the Patreon is working. Okay, hooray. The Jolly Dutton Effect says, is this channel just devotees of Jordan Peterson? No, not at all. The channel did start on Jordan Peterson, but like, I admire all kinds of thinkers. Like I love Sam Harris, for instance, if you're on that divide. Well, obviously we love Jung as well. And like, fuck, I love crazy shit like Alan Watts and Terence McKenna and freaking weird new age shit like Teal Swan and Alan Moore, mystical stuff. The idea, like some of Peterson's ideas are fundamental here. Like truth, that rule 8, tell the truth or at least don't lie. We're devoted to that, but no, we're not devoted to Jordan Peterson. He and I are very different people. I admire his mission, but also sorting myself out. Like I think I said it in the "What's Wrong with You" video, but I'll just make this really clear: is this is about sorting yourself out, and that's what we like about Peterson. So I don't know what you know about him, or I don't follow all of Peterson's politics. The part of Peterson we're following is the way in his self-authoring program, it's designed to help you sort yourself out. So for instance, and I haven't actually even done the program, but you know, other Ryan and Andrew have and such, and I've heard about it lots, but like at the drug and alcohol part, it calls you to think through what drugs, alcohol, whatever you're going to use, to think through the why you're using it, to be aware of the consequences, and to honestly examine what's good for you. But it doesn't tell you that you should quit drinking. It says you list what you know is good for you and what you know isn't. Be honest with yourself, write it the fuck down, and make a plan. So that's what we're about here, is taking the side of whatever of the we take the side of you that wants to be better. And whether you're left or right, whether you're an atheist or a believer, whether you're some sort of fundamentalist or you're a mystic, whatever, rich, poor, black, white, male, female, other, sane or insane, if you're trying to do better by your own conscience, then we're here to support you at being a better whatever the fuck it is you are. So you can dislike Peterson and still fully participate, especially if you dislike Peterson. But you, as you heard that, and to say, okay, I have to admit that shit's good, but still fuck Jordan Peterson for some other reason. It's like if you want to be honest, authentic, work towards the good, help support others while not judging whatever stage of development they're at, while not projecting your value system onto them, but to support them with what they're doing, then there's a place for you here. Kevin's good. Excellent. Oh, and Kevin's going to go chat with Tyler about editing Voth's book. Awesome. Tell Tyler I said hi and I love him. He was really helpful yesterday talking me through some of this shit. All right, am I done? I didn't know where the fuck this was going at the beginning. I threw some ideas up in my head, and that like formed the thumbnail, and then, you know, in the description, I threw some ideas out there, and I had the Motorhead song ready when I came on, thinking, okay, maybe I can make something out of all of that. But I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I hadn't been awake all that long when I came on even. But it seems like I did something here today, and it feels complete. I rambled for a while, and I think I covered every topic that I'd set out to cover. Like, I think I hit the points that I put in the tags. And then I guess we got our first Patreon supporter today. That's like a hooray. We accomplished something. And then I said I would read the whole chat and respond to it, and I did. Because people didn't actually write that much while I was rambling on and on. I plugged Tarot for Self-Knowledge. Everyone check out that channel, subscribe, and do that shit that I said you can do here, because you can do that shit for free. Just hit like every time you watch one of their videos. Subscribe, hit the notification bell. And even better, leave Tarot for Self-Knowledge a comment underneath. Because it doesn't matter what it is. The more comments you leave, the more the algorithm will promote something. So if you just write on Tarot for Self-Knowledge's videos, random words, that will actually help them out. But even better, give them some feedback. Yeah, there, I plugged that. Was there anything else? I plugged Nolan's Twitter, right? SMO Nolan. That's got to be good. Job done, right? Anything missing? Did I leave a thread that I need to tie off? Or does anyone have something fresh? Does anyone here? Yeah, I got all that nonsense out of my head now. Anyone need anything? Anyone struggling? Or does anyone have any great news that they want to share with the world? I'll wait for a minute to see if anyone just wants to use me like a puppet and say something to the internet. You can put out a request for some help or some understanding. Or you can put out some inspirational message or share some good news. Wonder how long the delay is. I feel like I can say, okay, cool, everyone's nice and quiet. Yeah, and people are dropping out. There's only 4 people here. So I think it's like, I can just stop this now. But I also don't want to if someone's taking the time to word a message properly and if there's a longer delay than I thought. I don't want to miss that. So I'm going to wait around for another minute. And so if no one is working on a message, I guess we'll end this with a minute of silence of just being present with each other in the moment. Even if you're watching this later, we'll share a moment across time. Ben asks, is Zoom like Discord? No, Zoom is the site that everyone's doing these fucking gatherings on. Zoom's just the site where everyone calls in and you see everyone's squares. That's what we use to record our podcasts, and that's what I use to do private sessions. And when we have lunatic patrols, we're using Zoom. And I can barely use my computer, but just I don't know what Google Hangouts was. I've never used anything like Zoom before. But when we do these things, one of my babysitters sets up the Zoom for me, or also every single person who does private sessions with me either sets up the Zoom link for us, or we use an alternate method, because there's a couple alternates. But no, Zoom is just how like we talk to people. And so for me, it's as easy as when someone gives me a Zoom link, I just click on it and it takes you to the site. And then you just click on buttons. It'll say enable camera and you can choose to or not. And then it says join with computer audio. You just click that. And then once you're joined on a Zoom meeting, in the bottom left, I think, you've got a microphone and a camera button, and you can turn those both on and off like independently. So you can mute yourself so that people can see that you're listening, or you can also leave your camera off. And if you still want to participate in the conversation, you can turn on just your mic. So if you ever see a like me go live, and instead of starting with Lunatic Live, it's Lunatic Patrol, that means we're getting together for a Zoom hangout. I enjoy doing it where we start by watching something together. So they're like watch parties, but we do hours of conversation afterwards that often has nothing to do with what we're watching, or occasionally references it. But we watch sometimes TV shows. We watch Doom Patrol, which is where Lunatic Patrol came from. And we've watched a few movies. We also listen to music sometimes. And I might in the future do other things as well, where, yeah, some music at the beginning. I like watching something or listening to something together to get like an energy flow established. And I find the conversation kicks off a little easier after, whereas otherwise it's like trying to dry start something. But we might do like ones where it's lectures or just a bit of music. And in the future, there's some different TV shows I really want to watch, like not the whole series, the way we watched all of season 1 of Doom Patrol. Oh, right. And Shane recently told me season 2 started. I didn't know if that was actually ever going to come out. And people gave me feedback. They want to watch season 2 together. So I guess we'll be going back to more Doom Patrol either soon or at some point. But I also want to do certain episodes out of the original Twilight Zone series, like the one Rod Serling did that starts back in 1959. There's some real gems there that a lot of people haven't seen that set up really good for deep conversations. And Red Dwarf, I want to watch. But anyway, Ben says private sessions like psychotherapy, talk therapy. Yeah, absolutely. Like psychotherapy, like the Ramones. Yeah, I do this nonsense. And some people, because I know a fair amount about psychology and psychiatry at this point, and I know a fair amount about managing being bipolar. I'm not on meds anymore. So I can, like, as a peer counselor, I can discuss things from the psychological perspective in such a way that people find things useful. And so if you're sort of a Richard Dawkins type, where you believe in psychiatry, but you don't believe in mystical shit, be aware I have both subpersonalities. I have an atheist subpersonality. And what I do is I just ask what the person wants. And then if what the person, so far, I always have a subpersonality to match what people want, but there's definitely requests people could make I wouldn't be able to help with. Like if someone came to me and said, okay, help me work out my diet, I wouldn't be able to help. I don't have an inner dietitian. I have no ability to help someone with that. But if someone wants to talk to the inner atheist that understands psychology and managing a mental illness, I can call up that part of me and talk from that perspective. I've got a Catholic, like Christian subpersonality. If someone's a Christian and wants to examine life through the Christian lens, I can talk from that perspective. Although I've also got the whole mystical side, and my understanding of reality is bigger than any one subpersonality. I'm a Gestalt who looks at things from all perspectives. Also, just if you're interested in talking to a lunatic magician, if you're curious about wherever all that comes from, if you're open-minded about angels or collective unconscious or morphic resonance or any of that nonsense, I'm very experienced at interdimensional travel. And so I can act to a certain degree. Some conversations I have are just like a conversation you would hear in a psychologist's office. I've had plenty of conversations where it was like the reverse, but where I'm not claiming to be giving psychological advice. I advise everyone to be taking all their other help, keep seeing your psychiatrist. It's just I can do some peer counseling from that perspective. Some people call out more my inner priest or shaman or mystic. Some people really want a magician and a mystic, and they want to talk about interacting with angels, or they want some actual magic. They want some loving or healing energies. So if it's within me to give it, and if it's the part of you that's trying to make things better, we're aimed at the good with a capital G, like thy will be done, not mine. That's what I specialize in. And I don't charge anything. I'm doing this all at the moment. I'm government funded. I live off of disability. And so even though my private sessions really, that's, I guess, more like part of whatever I'm going to call my business. Like when I get my, if I get my retreat, when, whatever. The private sessions, I guess, are really that. But at the moment, I'm doing that totally under the umbrella of sorting myself out. And at the moment, I'm fine. I'm on disability. And I don't like thinking about money. I really don't. So for now, I just want to love people, be present with people, help people. I want to pray together, discuss philosophical concepts together. I just want to love people and do magic. And I don't want to think about money right now. However, I said before, there's those projects that need money, not me right now. So I'm fine. I'm on disability. I do all my private sessions and everything free. If you want to support this, so not even to show gratitude, because you can show me gratitude just by loving me or just by, expressing gratitude. But if it's not even, and I mean, or if your love language, I'm just sorry, like I understand people have different love languages. Mine isn't money. But if your love language is money and you want to show gratitude, at the moment, what you can do is you can kick it sorting myself out, and that'll help that business get itself going. I think soon what we're going to do first is a fundraiser for a better computer for me. So that's the other place that if people want to express their love language is money, you'll be able to donate to that. And then if things keep going the way they are and that fundraiser works, we'll work on the sanctuary. But then also, if your love language isn't money and you're just thinking practically, so if you appreciate what I do, whether it's because you've had a session with me, or say you're someone who doesn't need a session with me, but you just think like, okay, fuck, I'm really glad there's somebody out there taking care of these poor, pathetic, delusional people and suicidal people, because they're a real pain in the butt for society. And if he can help some of them get through their psychotic breaks, or if he can keep a couple of these losers from killing themselves, that's so hard on everyone's families. So if someone's just looking at it from that practical perspective, and you want me to do more of this, and you're the kind of person who funds what you like, you vote with dollars, that you recognize that's how you make a change in the world, is by where you direct money. Then there's the Patreon, and in the future there'll be the ways to directly, fund a project. I think it'll be first the computer and then the sanctuary. Wow, okay, see, that sounded almost professional. If I hadn't been swearing so much. Maybe I'm starting to learn how to do some of this. Adele said, Kevin, as you wish, and said, Kevin? Well, hello there. Oh, right. Terrell reminded me I got a meeting in 1 hour and 5 minutes now. I've been on an hour and a half, and I was actually thinking it would be more like a half hour. Yesterday's I managed to make it fairly short, like for me. Sometimes I ramble for hours. But even though I could keep going longer, there aren't many people watching anyway. It's not like there's a bunch of shit to respond to. So Tella says, thank you for answering the call from the universe and to sending love. I'm sending love back. And, well, you're welcome. But also, to be honest with you, it's Alan Watts is right. That's the selfish thing to do. Put yourself in service of the all, work at it with humility, and do your honest best. And eventually the all starts falling in love with you. So it's very selfish behavior to put yourself in service of everyone, because you are everyone. We're all one. So all you're doing is making your reality better and better. Plus, you keep doing it and you just keep making your actual self better and better. So it's a very, very selfish endeavor to try to love and serve the world. But not in the sense of the worldly level, trying to love and serve the world in service of God. Language gets tricky. But you know what I mean. It's selfish. So I'll end with that. It's like going to the gym. It's hard at first, walking these kind of paths. Like, it just makes you sore. It makes life harder in the short term. You don't see any results. But you stick with it, and eventually it becomes a bit easier, and then you start seeing some results. And then you start getting those fucking endorphins kicking in and whatever. You start getting runner's highs or what. Next thing you know, you're addicted to it. And you're stronger and you're faster and you feel better. It's how walking the spiritual path works. It's hard at first. It can make things more painful, cleaning out the shadows and such. Learning to reorient your mind and learning the way, like, an ego death is painful. Learning how to phoenix, how to just keep dying and getting back up and dying and resurrecting each time just a little better than before. Try to love and accept everything without judgment. To be entirely honest. Hard at first. I think it's easier. Then you look better in the mirror. It's not like going to the gym where you physically look better, but it's where you used to look so ugly to yourself, the way you couldn't look at yourself in the mirror. Suddenly it's not so bad looking at yourself in the mirror. And one day you find yourself, for a moment, and maybe it'll fluctuate, maybe it'll go back and forth, the way yesterday. I didn't look too good in the mirror to myself for a while, did I? But then you finish crying, and you get a bit of rest. You look in the mirror. You're surprised to see that you actually admire the person standing there. And rather than looking like yesterday's thumbnail, where when I looked in the mirror, I saw a lot of the Elephant Man, his skull tattooed here, and myself. I looked so ugly and deformed to myself yesterday. Today, when I looked in the mirror, I looked like the thumbnail I chose for today. And I can live with that. Both of those are men I'm willing to be. I can take pride in the part of me that's Popeye and admire that strength. And I can love the part of me that's like Joseph Merrick, horribly deformed, yet intricately beautiful in its own way. Heartbreaking, but pure. And you read about the way Joseph died, trying to be like other people, laying on his back, taking the risk because of the deformity of his skull. And it happening, his head tipping back, him not having the strength to lift it back up, him slowly suffocating in his little room in that British hospital. I can be that too. Everything else, the whole cluster of bizarre subpersonalities and states of being that I experience. I can do that. Oh, okay, so Adela's pointing out it's a Princess Bride reference. I've never seen that since I was a kid, so I don't know. Ben says talk therapy has never really been adapted outside of North America for widespread use, from my understanding. Do you base it on Freud or Jung? I don't base it on either. I base it on my lived experience, and I do my crazy mystical shit of I empty myself out, I get into the now, I open myself up to the moment, and in a very Taoist way, I just show up present and respond to the person. When we're talking through things from a more psychological perspective, I have the delusion of picking up psychic impressions from people mixed with I know how to listen deeply, deep listening, so that I can say back to people what they just said to me in a clearer way that helps them work it out. And then when it comes to all the mystical shit, then I don't have to do anything. Then I can just step back from my ego and the part talking, and I can step back into that mindfulness and just drop back into awareness, and I can just let God and the angels talk through me. And that flow state kicks in really easily with good people. And it's good people who come to me, good people who are struggling and are trying to be better. Then I just drop back into a flow state and let the angels talk through me. I started rambling again. I was trying to wrap it up. So Adela is going to give us the wisdom to end this on. Honesty makes you look better in the mirror.